I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine wanting, with every fiber of your being, to remove a perfectly healthy part of your own body. Today we're diving into a condition that really challenges our most basic ideas about who we are, a disorder where someone's deepest wish is to become physically incomplete.
It's a crazy paradox, right? Feeling whole only after becoming physically incomplete. But that idea is really the key to understanding one of the most unsettling conditions in psychology. And the whole thing kind of exploded into public view because of one really unforgettable case.
So, let's go back to 1997. A surgeon in Scotland named Robert Smith performs an operation that just sends shockwaves through the entire medical world. He intentionally amputates a patient's healthy leg. Now, this wasn't some horrible medical error. It was exactly what the patient had begged him, pleaded with him to do.
And just like that one single shocking operation forced the medical community to finally confront this deeply misunderstood condition, body integrity identity disorder, or as it's known, BIID. So what in the world is actually happening inside the mind of someone living with this?
The first thing you have to understand is that this isn't about looks. It has nothing to do with aesthetics. This is about a fundamental, deep mismatch between a person's physical body and their internal sense of self. It's really a profound conflict between the mind and our anatomy.
The clinical definition is pretty stark, and it's so important to grasp just how severe this is. BIID is an overwhelming, non-stop desire for amputation or even paralysis. This is not just a passing thought. It's a core part of who they feel they are, and it's a source of constant, incredible distress.
Now, it's really crucial to separate this from something you might have heard of: body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. They are worlds apart. With BDD, someone might obsess over a perceived flaw, like the shape of their nose. But with BIAD, they don't hate their leg. They feel like it's not their leg at all. It feels like a foreign object. So the goal isn't to look perfect. It's to have a body that finally feels authentic to their own mind.
This leads to this really key concept of feeling overcomplete. Just try to imagine looking in the mirror and seeing an extra arm that, deep in your soul shouldn't be there. That's the daily reality for someone with BIID. The limb feels like an alien attachment, just a burdensome foreign object they're forced to carry around.
And this is where things get really, really terrifying. Because when the medical world says no, and it usually does, that desperation doesn't just vanish. The drive to make the body match the mind is so powerful that people will resort to these extreme, horrific measures, often with life-altering, tragic results. So, is this purely a psychological problem, or is there something else going on? Well, neuroscientists are pretty convinced the answer lies deep inside the brain itself, in the brain's own map of the body. And this offers a really compelling neurological explanation. You see, inside our brains, we all have this thing called a homunculus. You can think of it like a neural blueprint of our body. It's the thing that tells us where our limbs are, and crucially, that they belong to us. The main theory behind BIID is that for some people, this internal map was drawn incorrectly, maybe right from the start. And researchers like Ramachandran and McGeoch have even zeroed in on a very specific area, the right parietal lobe. This part of the brain is basically the GPS for our body, taking in all the sensory data to create that coherent self-image. It's right there that the malfunction is believed to be happening. So here's the conflict, right? The physical leg is there, and it's sending signals to the brain. Hey, I'm here, I'm moving. But the brain's map in that right parietal lobe has no space designated for it. So the brain's conclusion is, this thing must be an imposter. It's a foreign object. And that kicks off this deep, powerful, emotional rejection of that body part.
This neurological idea actually connects BIID to other known conditions, like somatoparaphrenia. This is a syndrome where stroke patients who have damage to that same exact brain area will suddenly deny ownership of their own limb. But the key difference is that BIID isn't caused by a sudden injury. It seems to be a lifelong, maybe even congenital mismatch in the brain's wiring.
But understanding the potential neurology behind this doesn't make the next part any easier. Actually, it just throws us right into this profound ethical crossroads for the entire medical profession.
At the heart of everything is this question. The Hippocratic Oath says, "First, do no harm." But what really is harm in this case? Is it the act of removing a healthy limb, or is it letting a patient continue to suffer psychologically, knowing they might end up harming themselves far more brutally if you deny them help?
And the debate is just fiercely divided. On one side, you've got the principle of patient autonomy. People who support this argue that if a person is competent and understands all the risks, they should have the right to make decisions about their own body. They even put it on a spectrum with things like cosmetic or gender-affirming surgery, where the goal is to align the physical body with a person's core identity. But on the other side, you have the doctor's duty to do no harm. They argue that this desire comes from a neurological issue, which means the patient's ability to give true consent is compromised.
So, given that surgery is obviously permanent and ethically so complicated, the focus of the research is now shifting. Instead of changing the body to fit the brain's flawed map, scientists are now trying to figure out how to change the brain's map to fit the body, to find therapies that can resolve this conflict without a scalpel.
And this all brings us to our conclusion, which, to be honest, isn't really an answer at all. It's a much deeper question. This entire condition forces us to step back and just reconsider what it even means to be whole.
The central takeaway here is just profound. Our bodies are not just flesh and bone. They are also a concept, an image that we hold in our minds. And BIID shows us in this really stark way what happens when that mental image fractures from physical reality.
So I'll just leave you with this final, really challenging question. What is the true measure of a whole person? Is it just having an intact anatomical form? Or is it that feeling of peace and authenticity that comes only when our mind and our body are finally in agreement? It's a question with no easy answer at all.